Hi there, my name is Oscar Cortez, and for this assignment, the topic I chose is: should social media platforms be allowed to censor content? There are two sides to this topic, people that agree and disagree. And I am on the side that agrees with this. There are many reasons why this happens and why social media censors a lot of content is because a lot of people think, and this is the other side for the other audience that doesn't agree, is that the internet is a safe place to talk about things without being judged or without any repercussions. And sometimes that is not always correct. An example I like to use is because there are younger generations and younger kids that have access to this internet and social media, regardless. At school, home, out in public, anywhere they go. They can even access it at the local library if they need to. And with the people that think that they could speak about anything they want and have no repercussions or any consequences at all, those kids have access to it. And that could influence kids in a good or bad way. And this is my slideshow to prove or to admit why I think social media has permission to do it. First slide. What's the issue? Oh, let me lower down the brightness. So sorry. First one I put is social media platforms often remove, flag, or restrict content. Like I said earlier, with this, social media has automatically a device or even machine or a program that looks at everything that is posted online, depends what app or what it is, and sees that if this is quote quote following the guidelines, and guidelines are for some apps, rules that they have, that they will not get in trouble. So with this implied, certain people think they could post, write about anything, and what it is, sometimes it'll pass through, sometimes it'll be no. I'll send you like an email or notification saying that this wasn't allowed. Second is claims of misinformation, hate speech, or policy violations. Like I was speaking about earlier, guidelines. A lot of people think that they could post whatever they want and no damage. In reality, that there are consequences. People think whatever's on the internet is okay. This is not. Because, for example, misinformation. A lot of people use the internet or social media for information, to gain information, see what's going on. For example, to see what's going on in the neighborhood, what's going on with the government. And people that think that they know everything will post anything they want on social media, and people will believe that is true. Or like, oh, what is this? And they will like just be false information. And also another reason is hate speech. A lot of people will go online and just negative energy, talk about a topic that they hate or even someone, and think that has no damage, when in reality it does to the person that's receiving it at the other end. That's why there are rules for this topic. Last point is raises major questions about freedom of speech versus public safety. For the people that disagree with this topic, a lot of people think that their right is being provoked because they cannot write about how they feel. In reality, that whatever you say can get you in trouble, but some people think it doesn't, because the freedom of speech. People think that they can say whatever they want without getting any consequences. But in reality, they made that freedom of speech to express how you feel, yes, but to a certain extent. Us regular civilians cannot vote. I would not say vote, but go into the government and have a say. This is why there is a system for us to vote, and to, even if we have any notes or any like things we want to give for them or any like information, there are ways to do it instead of just exposing it out there. Second slideshow, the case for censorship. The reasons why I wrote in this slide is prevent spread of harmful misinformation. Examples, health politics. Second point is reduces hate speech, harassment, and radical content. Third, platforms are private companies with the right to moderate content. With all of this information, no matter what, everything's going to be checked. Like it or not, it's going to be checked because there are rules to go by. Just because you go through the guidelines and it goes through that the company or app isn't going to get in trouble for. There's always loopholes that people find to get things how they feel or what they want out to the internet. People will find ways to go around the system, anything like I said. And those companies or apps, social media example, can get in trouble because it is on their app, so they are responsible for it. Of course, you will get a warning or like an email saying that your account is banned or you cannot do this for a certain amount, but truly at the end of the day, the company or app will get the most trouble. It does reduce a lot of things since all these rules and guidelines are now influenced and you have to follow for you to be able to use anything. It has reduced a lot of things like hate speech, harassment, because at one point there was a lot of people going online and hating on people for no reason or even trying to like hurt people. Now with all these new apps and all these new guidelines, that has reduced down to the bare minimum. It is still going on, unfortunately, but of course they're always trying to find ways to fix it. And now, last point, like I said, platforms are private companies with the right to moderate content. So with this, like I said earlier, apps have the right to see what's good and what's not good, even if you think it was okay. Companies have the right. They are paid to do this for a living, so they have to double check everything to make sure everything is okay to be posted. Next slide is a case against censorship. So these are for the people that disagree. First point is violates free speech principles and suppresses dissent. Second point is human reviewers can make biased or flawed decisions. And third point is slippery slope, who defines harmful or false information. With this whole slide, it is talking about social media is wrong for doing censor. For one, like I said earlier, it takes away the freedom of speech idea. People feel that since they cannot express how they really feel, it is wrong. They want to make sure people know how they feel or what they think about certain topics, when in reality, it could be bad, wrong, negative, and that isn't the case. We're trying to be better and spread positivity. With this now, even when people have the right, or if they have the right to post whatever they want, this can make people make decisions about anything, good or bad, mostly the bad. We don't want to make anyone to make a bad decision from what they see online. We want to make sure everyone that sees online knows what they're doing and making sure they're making the correct decision. And now lastly, what defines harmful or false information? With this is why the apps go through this. The apps hire people, the apps have programs that are paid and made for to see what's harmful and what's not. In some cases, there are some things that are not considered harmful or false, but of course, we can't do anything about it. We are not the companies, we are not the social media. We just have to live with it. With this, some of these reasons, I kind of do see why a lot of people disagree, but I still stand strong about social media does have the right to do censorship. Next slide. Real examples. One, COVID-19. There was a lot of information spread from social media about a lot of things about during this time. I remember when it first started that it wasn't a big thing. Social media was like pushing it, oh, it's not really big, it's just a small flu. And then a couple months later, out of nowhere, social media is now posting. We were wrong. This is a huge discussion. This is a huge debate. You have to follow these rules. It's just with the people that think that this is all government things. They will post anything they want. And people like me that got fooled by it think that, oh, this information is correct. In reality, it's just someone speaking their mind. Second point, elections. This is a good topic. Fact-checking and bans spark political backlash. With this, during elections, a lot of people like to speak of how they feel and what they think about presidents, what's going on, that the elections are rigged. That's a great example. A lot of people will put out on the internet or even make videos about how they feel and what's going on. Some people think the elections are rigged, and they'll go on to prove why it is. But in reality, that it goes through a correct system, and it just has a process for everything. Last point is deplatforming figures debates around fairness and transparency. With this is about if it's okay or not. To me, a lot of people are, let me use this example, the older generation versus the newer generations. Of course, no matter what, new generation becomes old generation. Older generation think that new generation is soft, so they have to be careful. They can't say what they really feel. So imagine the older generation going on the internet and saying how they really feel about this new generation. Some of the information they say will go through and some will not. It just depends how people view it. So that's why there is flagging, there is censorship. Because some people, I think that's okay. Other people could be offended or even scared of this information. And we don't want any of that. Now for the conclusion. What we've gone through. It is a complex balance between freedom and responsibility. No matter what, we have to be careful what we say. But of course, we do have the right to speak however we want. We had to use both of that and try to find the balance of it. Second, should tech companies, governments, or users decide what stays online? I feel like for this question that we do have a decision because we are the ones using the social media and internet to post. That's why a lot of people like to make stuff on internet or social media, and that's why new apps are coming out every day to just engage with anything. We do have the right because we are the ones using it. We are the ones posting things, doing that. But we also have to follow rules. We can't just be, oh, you guys want us to use it? Okay, I'm gonna do whatever I want. We cannot do that. There are rules that we all have to go by. Like how there are laws that we have to go by. If we break a law, we get in trouble. If we break a rule on the internet, we can get in trouble too. Now, a question to ask you guys. What do you think? Is censorship protection or control? For me, I think it is protection, like I said earlier, for the younger generation to not influence them in a bad way. But a lot of people have their own questions or answers. But that's a question for you guys to think about or to even discuss about. Thank you guys for watching this video. And I would like to say that this was a great class for me, and I have really improved on certain things, and of course assignments that we have taken to help me improve as a better speech person, to go out there and talk to more people and to also speak in front of a crowd. And I like to say thanks to that. Thank you.